and I'm not going to waste it now. And I'm not Chairman now either. But there are one or two things I want to say. And I was going to start off with ladies and gentlemen. That's the worst impersonation of Frankie Howard you'll ever hear. And another thing, I know, old favourite, unaccustomed as I am to speaking in public houses, I just want to say that don't be shocked about my poor attempts at joviality. I'm not always frivolous. When I'm on my own, I'm far from frivolous. And I do more in private. And strangely enough, I've just been talking to a lady who's told me how she got on when her other half died, about laying a table for fewer people. Well, I lay a table for one now. That's a bit different. And as I go up to bed at night, to our king-size bed, I still sleep on my side. Strange, isn't it? And I never think of moving over. And when I go shopping during the day, and I open the front door and go to the car, I no longer hear, "Hurry up back, don't be long." I shan't hear that anymore either, and I can please myself how long I'm out. Now, every surviving partner has certain emotions that they never thought they'd ever have. And I'm not a heaven and hell bloke. If I were a disciple, I'd be Thomas. I try hard to hold up to Christian principles. How can you not cherish the Sermon on the Mount? And Bet did all that without trying. And further, to the address at the crematorium, I'd like to add just a few more facts. I first met Bet to talk to at Worcester in 1951, and we've been a pair at the cities for 65 years. We've occasionally had miswords, who doesn't? But we've always been on the same wavelength. Now, what did we enjoy? Well, we enjoyed riotous Christmases for a start, with £21 turkeys, and our frequent holidays, both abroad and in this country. We had a caravan, a static caravan in Dawlish Warren, which we enjoyed for years and years until we moved permanently to Cornwall anyway. And I do cherish the lovely holidays we had with a classical Italian tour and roughing it by camping in France. The kids will remind you of all that if you ask them. We also managed over the years to cope with tragedy without questioning the meaning of life. And we've got over that as well, as you do. And coping with death, you know what they say, there are two inevitables in life, death and taxes. But I'm not so sure about the second one. Winston Churchill never avoided death, nor Elizabeth Taylor, nor all the popes and the clergy, and recently nor did Hilda Ogden. And anyone reaching or surpassing mid-80s, as Bet did, and who dies in a comfortable home, in a warm bed, with all mental faculties intact, is a great comfort and example to all those she leaves behind. And in Bet's case, it was quality and quantity. Now, what words can bring comfort and reason to the bereaved? I don't want to get too philosophical about all this, but they all seem to have 4 letters. You may as well ask why. Why are all fire engines called Dennis? Why do 4-letter words occur rude as well as nice? And if you like, I'll give you a moment to see how long it takes of you to think of all the rude ones. There's no prize at the end.
Not long.
Now the meaningful ones, off the top of my head, love for a start, 4 letters. Being comfortable in somebody's company, I put that. Fate, don't tempt it. Soul is what people remember you for. Care, concern and consideration. Kind, well-meaning, and so on, and so on. Now, enough of all this philosophy anyway. I'd like to thank you all for coming. It's odd and a shame that the only time people gather like this is for a funeral. And I want to thank all the wonderful neighbours I've got, all the old friends, old colleagues, relations, the few I've got left, and the hangers-on, and the carers. I must mention the carers who came and saw Bet for month after month, 3 times a day, and gave her the utmost care and attention and love, the like of which I've never seen from a stranger. And especially I'd like to thank my 3 kids. Well, I say kids, the youngest is 51. But I'd like to say thank you, Roger and Sue and Tim, for being kind and helpful. And they've got all the trays of their mother. And I hope some of mine. And finally, I didn't anticipate quite so many people being here as there are. And I didn't budget for it. So I may want a little help with the washing up later on. Anyway, thank you all for coming.